back here live at the NASDAQ for the Ideagen Global Leadership Summit. Honored to have with me today Mr. Dan Kochik from Covestro. Dan, welcome.
Hi, how are you? Hi, George. Good to see you. Thank you.
Well, Dan, you know, it's an interesting time. We're live here at the NASDAQ on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly. And Covestro is doing incredible work across the planet and right here in the United States of America. I want to ask you, you're operating at the intersection of materials science and innovation. What role do you see for advanced materials in addressing some of today's biggest global challenges? Everything from climate change to digital transformation.
Sure. Just a little bit about Covestro. Covestro is one of the world's leading producers of materials used in everyday items. So think of polyurethane foams, which are used in mattresses and chairs, your tennis shoes, for example, polycarbonate in your eyeglasses, for example. And so we're a German company. We have about 3,000 employees across the United States, and we're constantly innovating to meet the market demands for the products that you and I consume every day. So, you know, your computer, for example, will have our plastics in it. And with all of the new technology and the rapid pace of the changes that these different requirements for new products are, we're constantly innovating to meet our customers' demands. And one of the big challenges, of course, is that our customers expect sustainability to be part of our ethos as we're building this into our products. And so when you buy, for example, an automobile, the automaker wants to ensure that they can say with certainty that this vehicle is made with materials that are sustainably produced. And so we're taking massive leaps in that direction. One of the big things that we've pioneered in the United States and are really innovating around or using different types of feedstocks to make different types of plastics. So in other words, the materials that go into them aren't all going to be fossil-based in the future, and that's something that our customers want. And so I think for us as a company, we see that as a real opportunity to continue to grow, looking at different ways to make our plastics and our materials. And also, more broadly, just from our own operations as a company, committing to reducing our emissions, making sure that our overall footprint meets the requirements of both our customers, also of our shareholders in the United States.
Incredible. I am very familiar, as you know, with Covestro and the work you're doing. And what is the distance that you usually have a Covestro product from you?
Yeah, we always say you're never 6 feet away from a Covestro product.
Never 6 feet away from a Covestro product. And what are some of the other types of products? I know the headlamps in vehicles.
Yeah, pretty much anything in the car you came in today. Right, the U.S. passport is one of the plastic used for that. Identification cards for driver's licenses, for example. Pieces of your phone, for example. Some of the on the camera lens would be another example of a product that we would supply into. And so really everything you touch, your laptop, the screen, some of the films that are used to make that. So really a very diverse product range. I think we have over 10,000 different product offerings in the United States. And so
10,000?
Yeah, in our product catalog. So really an impressive portfolio. And again, it's something that is interesting about the chemical company is we're one of those companies that you may touch our products every day and not know it. And so we don't have the same end experience that you would with your iPhone, for example. But at the end of the day, all of our products make those products possible. We help to enable the new technologies. And if we look toward the future, as automobiles are transitioning to electric vehicles, the construction of new data centers that need better insulating materials, companies are looking to us to innovate those materials for them. And so a perfect example of that is the battery in an electric vehicle.
Right. Without
using our types of plastics, just not only for that, but also the car itself, the weight becomes a restriction. And so there's a lot of transition away from the traditional materials used to make that to new high-tech, lighter weight polymers. Think of solar panels as another example, or wind blades on turbines.
And so Covestro is leading the way. Where are you headquartered here in the United States?
So here in the United States, our North America headquarters are in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Globally, we're based in Leverkusen, Germany.
Yeah. And so, Dan, you've spent nearly a decade, gosh, working in government affairs and policy analysis in Washington, D.C. What a fun job, isn't it?
Yeah, it never ends, you know.
And so how is Covestro positioning itself on key issues like what you alluded to, chemical safety, plastic waste mitigation, and the circular economy policy that is being discussed in DC?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think right now is such an interesting time for companies trying to evolve to the different realities of a new administration, which has very different priorities. You know, for us, I think top of mind, trade is really a huge topic for us right now, and we're trying to still understand what some of those realities for us as a company are. I think also, though, you know, the ongoing changes on some of the environmental regulations, we've been adopting to make sure that we're not only meeting our standards here, but also meeting our global standards. So as a European-based company, we have very different, a different approach at the global level than a lot of our peers here in the United States do. And so we do meet those global standards. And I think for us, it really is, like I said, trying to ensure that we're always putting people ahead of profit as a company. And so for us, our constant innovation model is to continually improve and build to meet those demands that are new realities.
And fair global competition and all the things that come along with that, which is not always simple, but something that is important, right?
Absolutely.
And so you have some challenges and some opportunities, right? And so in aligning your priorities, whether it's federal legislation, specifically in tax, trade, and transportation, what are some of the sort of tactics that you're utilizing to make sure that you stay at the fore of making sure that, you know, Covestro is profitable?
Yeah, of course.
And helping to change the world?
Yeah, I think really top of mind is you know, and it all starts from within. Our team is really growing using new tools, new data sources, really being able to get ahead of and understand these sometimes very complicated regulatory proposals, but also working very closely with our outside counsel and consultants, and making sure that we're constantly evolving to meet these very interesting and intricate, as you know, rulemaking actions and legislative priorities.
Yeah. Yeah. So from your experience in engaging with these policymakers in Washington, what do you see as a message that resonates the most when advocating for more, let's say, innovation in chemical related matters?
Yeah, I think we need an enabling environment, as we say, right? We need to not only have the policy environment that allows for the United States to remain competitive as a chemical producer. I mean, you know, when we make an investment as a company, we're looking at the long term. It's not a 5-year quick turnaround on the return on a new facility, for example. If we're looking at the long term, decades long type of investment. And so we have to convince our shareholders and stakeholders internally that the U.S. is the place to do business if we're interested in continuing to grow here. And so we really need those policies, both at the federal and at the state and local level, right, that ensure that companies are incented to make the right investments here in the U.S. But also, I think, making sure that the energy is top of mind for us. You know, energy costs are a huge portion of what goes into our calculus of what we can reliably sell our products for. And so we have to continue to ensure that energy policies support our company, you know, and constantly understanding the regulations. Like I said, that's more the challenge, is keeping up and making sure that we're able to adopt and adapt to the new realities that come up really every day.
And your administration, I know, has focused on deregulation.
Yep.
And 1 for 10 or so. So that's maybe helpful in some ways to make sure when you introduce a piece of a regulation that you're getting rid of some other ones, so that you're balancing out how much regulation, because that regulatory burden I know is challenging.
It's extremely challenging.
And like you said, understanding it. What does it mean? Like, what's this new regulation and the time it takes and the impact it has on a company? So that's critical.
And with that, just the constant need for certainty. I mean, I think for us, we're, like I said, you know, we kind of different administration or from shifts in the political headwinds, our priorities very much change, but our core mission stays the same, that we need to continue to produce products that meet our standards and our customers' standards. And so we have to rely on our own ability to continue to make those products, but also rely on our outside, the outside environment to help influence how we make those decisions.
Well, look, I'm familiar with Covestro, as you know, and a huge fan of everything you're doing, both in the United States and around the world. And it literally, you wouldn't be able, you're not sitting more than 6 feet from a Covestro product. The laminate on tables here, the walls, the rugs, just about everything, right?
Yeah, really everything.
So looking ahead, what is it, Dan, that excites you about Covestro's future? There's so much, I know.
There's a lot.
There's a lot. Exactly. And what message would you like to leave behind here with our global audience live at NASDAQ and across the world about what leadership in these times means?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think for us, we're really looking forward to continuing to be the innovator for a lot of the products that will enable the future. So as I mentioned, electric vehicles, for example, new different types of technologies that rely on high-tech, sustainable materials that are also able to meet the performance standards. And so that really, looking forward, is a great opening for us. We're able to continue to innovate and meet those demands. And so I think we have a really healthy future of being a leader in that area. And I think, just more broadly, I think as a company, we continue to see, like you mentioned, a lot of these changes in customer demands. But at the end of the day, our products are, like you said, in everything, and we need to continue to make these products to help to meet those demands. And so I see that as really promising for us, for our future. And I think one last thing to add is just the current state of manufacturing in the United States. There's a lot of hopeful new investment that can be made. I think we see a lot of opportunities, and we're working to really look into ways to grow our footprint here, because there's a great workforce. AI is leading the future here. We have energy access, and so really that's an exciting future look for the company and for industry broadly.
Well, Dan Kochik, you are leading the way, global leader, Covestro, #1.
Thank you.
Let's go.
Very much. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, good.